What's going on, guys? Wei from Revolution here. January 2019, start of the year, and I get to speak to one of my favorite people, Raynald Aeschlimann, the CEO of Omega. How are you, sir?
Good, and you? Very good. It's a pleasure having you here. It's the beginning of the year. We're always very happy.
That's very kind of you. So I brought a couple of watches today that I want to talk to you about because I have now become a Speedmaster fanatic. And I'm into the vintage watches, but I'm also into the new watches. And I just wanted to explain to you, like, you know, I actually want to get from your perspective as the creator of these watches, what you guys were thinking about when you were designing and executing these timepieces, right? So the first one that kind of really got me into it with this is this beautiful CK2998. I love the fact that you did a blue and silver dial, but what I really just was captivated with this watch was the fact that it is a ceramic tachymeter with luminous, like, tachymetric indexes. Yeah. That's so cool. Like, how did you come up with this idea?
I think, you know, the whole story is about Speedmaster, and as I said it many times, it's like very rich heritage.
Right.
And I always make this kind of a small joke. The heritage is not only about getting money like we have in French, it's about respecting it, but also going very much deep, and we'll come back maybe with the Speedy Tuesday. It's about celebration of that. And Speedmaster has exactly this magic that we have at Omega, but especially at Speedmaster. If you do it well, the watch gains and make it even more extremely interesting.
Absolutely.
So for us it was very clear that doing that watch, which was one of the first watch we've ever done with new technologies.
Absolutely.
That blue color was so special that we say at that moment, let's make it, even from the bezel point of view, on the bezel, let's make it even shine more. So for me, that's a big symbol of the time that was, for me, one of the first one that I would say that was the beginning of what we are realizing today, which is celebration, but getting this DNA of a Speedmaster to make it on a very attractive level, and also somewhere with the newest technology.
Amazing. You know, I love the fact that there are some great vintage codes to this watch. Obviously, it has the CK2998, the straight lugs, the alpha-shaped hands, and the lollipop on the seconds indicator, which is the late 2998.
One of my favorite, the lollipop hand on the Speedmaster is one of my favorite part of that watch.
Me too. But at the same time, you know, what I love also is it's not just a reproduction of a vintage watch. It brings a new spirit, a new identity, and most importantly, new technology. And I fell in love with this watch. Then, you know, it was funny because the next watch that I managed to get, which was, again, thanks to a very dear friend of mine, a very kind human being, one of the most coveted watches in the world now. So everyone wants one of these watches. They're selling at 4 times their original retail price, and that is, of course, the Snoopy. Yeah. Tell me about this, because I know there's, I guess, if you count the first tribute to Apollo 13 and then the blue Snoopy, there have been 2 previous watches that have paid tribute to this incredible mission where the Speedmaster saved the lives of the astronauts, and then subsequently they were awarded the Snoopy Award, which is one of the greatest awards you can get from NASA. Yeah. Tell us about this.
So, honestly, if I look at that watch, I also have a great emotion, and to be honest, it's probably one of the first watch that I fell in love. And I ordered it from myself also.
Really?
And I have to admit that Snoopy has this incredible emotion, because you have to know that still Snoopy is something very important. Any astronauts going into the shuttle is kind of touching the Snoopy, because there's a one in the NASA, and it's for them very strong. And for us, you know, Speedmaster, to come back to what I said before, cannot start to be a funny watch. Anything we do in product development, and especially around Speedmaster, as it's written here, it cannot be a failure, because we have so much respect. So for me, it was an extraordinary moment where we could come with a white dial,
right? Because
the white dial looks like the Alaska project symbol.
Indeed.
And what we wanted is to play nevertheless with this incredible symbol that is Snoopy. So I have to say that the way this has been done was also on a balance between having a cartoon on the dial, which is in our price range, in our collection, very, very unique, because you cannot just do a cartoons watch.
Absolutely.
You must try to do it on a very high level, but also on the other side to make it a real Speedmaster. And honestly, that product, I fell in love, and many, many people around the world fell in love. And the fact that the Snoopy is on it makes it also that we're all human beings. It reminds us of being a child.
Indeed,
and
totally.
And emotional people are sometimes a bit childish, at least me myself sometimes.
Me too. You know, I love this watch so much. I mean, it's a white dialed Speedy. And the white dialed Speedmasters are incredibly collectible, whether it be the Mitsukoshi or the Alaska project, as you were saying. The integration of the Snoopy iconography with him kind of lying on the continuous seconds indicator is great. But then to have the thought bubble coming up where it says failure is not an option. And then to have, you know, because they use the Speedmaster to time the 14-second bursts to angle the spacecraft so it wouldn't burn up on reentry. So this watch really saved the lives of those astronauts. And to incorporate that, what can you do in 14 seconds into the seconds track as well? I mean, that's amazing. And then when you go to the back of this watch and you see this beautiful hand-carved silver Snoopy award as well on a beautiful blue bed, I mean, it's just stunning. You know, there's so much emotional storytelling.
And honestly, that's also one of this incredible story that the very much attention we put on the back of that watch, which could have been itself already one of the reasons why this watch would be so successful. And I like to mention this, and I'm very happy you mentioning this, because this is something that goes back to our internal value. We love at Omega to create a 361-degree product, as I always say, and that back is a symbol of this. We have created on the back, on the skin of the people, something that is quite unique, and each of them is unique because of the technology that we've used.
Okay, so let's talk about the fact that you're pretty much the first CEO, I think, who really understood the power of social media. And you know, with this hashtag Speedy Tuesday, where people are encouraged to post their vintage or modern Speedmasters, and has created such a global community. Right. And tell me your idea in terms of why you decided to commemorate this with the launch of this awesome watch, which the strap I stole also for my Snoopy.
I think one of the biggest advantage, and we can talk very long about everything around social network and social media. I think what was very interesting for me, being a CEO and having been so many years with Omega and very much traveling in my former position as a VP sales and retail and close to all these people around the world, is the fact that social media is, of course, and there's a big theories about that today, everybody talks about millennials and all that, but this is a unique way of getting to the people, to their mind, to their heart, and also to their emotion. And this not only by doing billboards or usual, I would say, usual marketing and communication strategy, but also bringing them when they wait for their bus, going to talk to them when they're just having a bit of fun or just having a bit of relaxing time. And this is also a way to make a big community. So for me, the Speedy Tuesday watch that we've done is a watch that was done for the community because we knew that we could go and talk to them.
Wow.
And that's exactly what for me was the biggest success of the team and myself, is about knowing that all these guys around the world, they're very much passionate about our brand. And by doing something for them and talking to them directly through the Instagram and social network was for me a revolution, yes, but was also a way of thanking them for being everywhere in the world supporting us. And the reaction was great because the watch was great. And this is also something that I want to say. That watch is also kind of a very balanced one, has a lot of the DNA. It's not just another limited edition. Mm-hmm. It was made for them. Besides the story of the moon, I think it's also very interesting to talk about that watch that is a Speedmaster that made history, and it's going to be this year more than 60 years of since its creation.
Amazing, and I love this watch. You know, it's kind of an homage to Alaska 3, with the radial markers on the subdials, the brush case, which is reminiscent of the star cases, the American-made cases, because the cases have to be made in America to be used by NASA. And then you've added this another kind of like secret clan d'oeil as well, which is this use of luminova on the subdials. Such a cool watch. So let's go from this to the second sort of Speedy Tuesday collaboration. And maybe I should also mention, it's really cool that you have this relationship with guys like Robert Jan from Fratello, and I know that he and you are very good friends, and that he, you know, occasionally gives some input into some of these watches, because it's also nice that you're a CEO that's in touch with the community.
Now, of course, I mean, for me, the fact that Robert Jan is, of course, creator and has been doing a lot for the watch community in the whole world, but he's also, for me, like somebody that is the master, a master of representing all the community, and he
Absolutely.
plays his role very, very well. So that was for us also kind of a incredibly overwhelming situation to know that we are not only creating something here in Bienne, but we also have some representative like the Fratello watches thinking and kind of analyzing all what our ideas were.
Amazing. Now, so you've got a model that is kind of a cult collectible called the Ultraman. It's a 145012. The last of the 321 calibered Speedmasters, and it has a very particular orange hand on it. And it appeared in a television program called The Return of Ultraman, and has now been dubbed the Ultraman. Although now we've discovered Gene Hackman is wearing it in a certain movie, and apparently the guy from Hawaii Five-0 was wearing it as well. So there apparently it made quite a few appearances in different sort of cult mediums. But for your second celebration of Speedy Tuesday, you created a new Ultraman. And what I love about this was the fact that the name Ultraman was given to it by collectors because of its appearance, but there was never any real association with the creators of Ultraman. I can only imagine you flying to Japan and having a conversation with these guys to say, listen, we need to collaborate on a watch together because it's a big cult thing.
Mm-hmm. I think it's exactly what happened. You were very right. I mean, talking about the Speedy Tuesday #2 was talking about how to create the same emotion. It was not about creating just a second edition. And I think that there was a lot there, much more. The first one was done in secret. And the first one was in terms of choosing, in terms of moving, in terms of developing that beautiful watch. It was much kind of a more evident for us that we could do more or less the best, but the best as we wanted. Having had the success of Speedy Tuesday #1, we had a lot of ideas.
Wow.
But this was even more of a pressure to have it balanced. To have it balanced between the history, the DNA, that's this famous orange hand, but also to have it very, very well done. And Ultraman was for me only possible by having the DNA of the Ultraman people. And they reacted very well because they also love what we've done. They love the concept, and that's why if you think about the signature, the secret signature that you were referring for the Speedy Tuesday or for the Snoopy, we had it there, and I was also typically playing with the seconds, playing with everything. So as you can see, this Speedy Tuesday is a watch that is not just being done. There is hours of thinking. There's hours always of analyzing or developing small details that makes it into an incredible watches, and not at all just making it to the next commercial success. Make it to the success for every single emotional detail that would make everybody in the world like that watch so excited to buy it because they wanted to have it.
It's so awesome, and it really is to me such an incredible demonstration that the people at Omega, in particular yourself, they genuinely love watches, because this is a watch that's created with so much love. The applied Omega symbol, the step dial, but then all the creativity you brought to it, the tachymeter word in orange, the orange markers around it, the hidden Ultraman that only appears under UV light, and the fact that the first 3 minutes in the minute counter are orange because that's the duration that Ultraman can remain Ultraman. Yes. It's so cool. Now, I couldn't help but notice that there's a gold spaceman behind us over there. And Omega is celebrating an incredible anniversary this year. It's the 50th anniversary, so golden anniversary of Apollo 11. And I couldn't help but remember back in 1969, you launched this watch. This is the BA 145.022. Launched in 1969. It was made in 1,014 pieces, and it's become one of the most collectible watches around. And this is interesting because this was the very first vintage Speedy that I ever bought, because I've always been in love with this watch. And thank God I bought it a while ago, because the prices have just gone crazy. Now, Raynald, just looking at the golden anniversary, looking at the golden astronaut, looking at this amazing watch, would you ever consider to do a tribute to this?
Yeah. It was very clear that when we foreseen these activities of this year, that watch, but exactly that watch, for its history, but also for the legacy that it gave to Omega, and the fact that it was done to celebrate this moon landing, was making it into an incredible base for developing any watches to celebrate.
Wow.
We're not doing any watches just to make limited edition. My vision is about celebrating the role and that moment, this incredible emotion that was done with that golden watch because of the moon landing. So it was evident that with the whole product development team, we had to come with a product that would celebrate. And obviously because of the success in the vintage market, there was nothing to be said. It was only to be said, let's make it the best under technological condition of today, but also to give nevertheless the same emotion that watch was given. And also, as I said, because it's an iconic watch, not only because of its role or at moment of time when it was given, but because it's also one of these incredible symbols of how strong Omega has made history in the watchmaking.
Wow. And I believe we've got the watch here someplace. I'm very nervous because I'm a huge fan of this watch. Perhaps you can walk us. Whoa.
So as you can see,
so cool.
it's always an incredible moment whenever I have the chance to see that watch, and I think you will vary. As we can see, this exact watch that you can see is a watch from the 21st century.
Absolutely.
It's the Omega watch that has exactly kept the profile, the design, also I would say even the soul of the watch of 1969. But you can discover it.
Wow.
We've added the whole technology of today by having some incredible premieres.
Wow.
Like the bezel in ceramic, obviously.
So that's the burgundy bezel, but in
burgundy
ceramic.
ceramic.
Wow.
Of course, we celebrated the same dial. It's an gold.
It's or massif.
Or massif.
So I see the OM that you have in the original watch. That's so cool.
You have the hour markers that are also very, very special, as you can see.
That's amazing.
And we have it done in a special alloy that is a new gold alloy that is called Moonshine. That is more resistant than the yellow gold. This is also to show and to make sure that watch will keep the whole shine and the strength of that color forever.
Incredible. So you actually have your own new alloy of gold called Moonshine gold. And if I'm not mistaken, there's the addition of palladium to it, which makes the watch less susceptible to changing in terms of color over the years. So you have something that will really have that stability. I love how you paired that with ceramic, which is also incredibly stable and assures you that this watch will not change in appearance for the duration of your relationship with it. Now, tell me a little bit about the movement, because this looks interesting to me.
The movement is also quite of an interesting, and it's a premiere. The movement that we wanted to put inside, and it's a story of 2 years of development with our manufacturer and all the engineer and experts, is an incredible new movement. It's the 3861, 3861, which is the evolution of the 1861 with all the newest technologies.
Incredible.
That makes us also, and that's what's incredible, make it that this watch will be the first ever Master Chronometer Speedmaster that we'll have in that line.
Amazing.
We wanted to celebrate that watch, to keep the spirit, the soul, but by giving to all our customers also the best of what is possible. And the best at Omega means a Master Chronometer new movement that is on the top of this. Gold plated, Moonshine gold plated, to remember that 50 years anniversary, but also to remember our big history. What is also very interesting is that watch became an incredible legendary watch because it was produced only 1,014 pieces.
Yes.
Not being a limited edition, just being a numbered edition. And it's fantastic to know also in the whole community and even outside that there was only 1,013. And that's why this watch comes on a limited edition of 1,014 pieces that will be delivered by the end of this year and will be one of these most iconic watches in the Speedmaster line. Obviously because I love that watch, but also to celebrate the 50 years anniversary, which we all know it's gold anniversary.
Raynald, what a pleasure to see you, sir. Thank you so much, and really chapeau. You and your brand are amazing, and you're staffed by people who love watches, and it's so beautifully transmitted through the watches that you make. Sir, thank you.
Thank you, Wei.
Thank you.
And always a pleasure to talk about Speedmaster with you.
Thank you.